A Utah neighborhood can breathe a sigh of relief. New at 9, how a tense standoff finally came to an end.
Tracking the wind today and tonight, what you can expect this evening, plus the timing of our next storm.
It would have been nice, maybe just a couple more days to get past Halloween.
And as that storm blows in, strong winds mean potential damage.
We could see gusts of 40 up to 55 miles per hour.
What so many holiday decorated homes needs to make sure happens tonight.
The Jazz host the NBA All-Star game this season. Do they have a player who can make the All-Star team? Plus, where the Utes landed in the college football playoff rankings.
A viral video of students in a Cedar City Walmart in blackface. The condemnation, the effect on students not involved, and the reflection on our state. We'll show you the video.
Live from Utah's news leader, Fox 13 News at 9 starts right now.
We begin with details of a standoff in a West Bountiful neighborhood that lasted all evening.
Fox 13 News reporter Maithili Gubi is live at the scene tonight, where she's been all afternoon tracking the developments and shares what we know so far. Maithili.
We've been here at the intersection of 800 West and 400 North in West Bountiful for hours now, while police say the suspect, a 41-year-old male, was barricaded in his home on the street behind me. Now, that man there was a call this afternoon at 2 p.m. to police for a domestic violence call. The police say that a woman did call saying her ex-fiance was threatening her with a firearm. Now, the woman and her children who were inside the home were able to get out safely, but the man was inside for quite a while. Police were negotiating with him, trying to bring him out by shouting, but also using different techniques to bring him out of his home. Now, that man is being treated for minor injuries at the hospital. He will be charged with aggravated assault, domestic violence with a firearm, and the presence of children, and booked to the Davis County Jail. Now, during this process, neighbors in the area were given a shelter-in-place call with a reverse 911 emergency notification to not come out of their homes while the standoff was going on. Now, we do know that that's all taken away. People are going to be able to return to their homes once these closures open very shortly. The people were evacuated from their homes. They can all return safely. That's what we know so far. We'll keep you updated with more at our website at fox13now.com. Live in West Bountiful, I am Maithili Gubi, Fox 13 News, Utah.
As you can see, the other big story tonight is the wind that is blowing out there.
Let's get to Utah Weather Authority Allison Krogan.
That's right. So we've got a cold front that's going to be arriving early tomorrow morning. Out ahead of it, we have very gusty conditions, but I've went ahead and I've added this cold front for you at 4 a.m. so you can see where it'll be, and it will continue to move through the Wasatch Front through about 8 a.m. So early tomorrow morning, we're going to have some strong winds into the overnight hours. For the Wasatch Front, we'll get you into the 50s at about midnight, but things will remain pretty steady temperature-wise through the night. But we will have breezy conditions for you this evening. I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this for you at midnight tonight. Check this out. Tooele, your wind will be gusting about 62 miles per hour. This is very strong wind that we're expecting into the overnight hours. We don't typically see wind like this here in Utah for as long as we're seeing it. Very gusty. So we'll continue here along the Wasatch Front for Salt Lake and Ogden, about 40 to 50 miles per hour. Into early tomorrow morning, this is 3 a.m. Things are still howling out there, and then that will start to die down behind the cold front. But throughout the day tomorrow, that front will be moving, and we're going to see that wind really starting to gust in eastern and central Utah tomorrow. So throughout the day, about 40 to 55 when you wake up tomorrow morning, cooling throughout the day with areas of rain and snow, where we could see some very slick roads for travel, and also how long this cool, wet pattern will last.
Well, Allison, as you were just saying, a storm, of course, on the way just one night now after Halloween.
Fox 13 News reporter Jenna Bree joins us live now from Daybreak in South Jordan, where a popular street for trick-or-treating is quickly bringing all the Halloween decorations in. Jenna.
That's right. The breeze is blowing, as you can see, some grass moving behind me, but really the winds aren't too terrible. And that's right. Here in Daybreak, this is a popular street for trick-or-treating. Hogwarts House up in front of me. There was a pirate ship behind me, but those decorations are really coming down quickly. Brad Bryant spent 2.5 weeks turning his back porch into a pirate ship.
Probably increased it by at least another 100 to 120 pieces.
Now, he has just one night to break it all down.
It would have been nice, maybe just a couple more days, get past Halloween, but it just doesn't give us an option with that snow and rain.
With a winter storm on the way, Rocky Mountain Power is advising Utahns to take down their decorations tonight.
We just had Halloween, and there are a lot of decorations. I think Utah's done really well at decorating their yards and everything, but with those winds coming in, we could see gusts of 40 up to 55 miles per hour. And where that kind of puts us in some, I guess, risk, a little bit elevated risk, is having those things become airborne and landing into power lines.
Jonna Whiteside says wind gusts could send ghosts and pumpkins flying, knocking out the power in our homes.
I think with any of these winds that are coming in, you definitely have the possibility for outages.
You hear about those balloons and stuff that leave.
Bryant, sad to put an end to the spooky fun just a day after the holiday.
I've got to get it all down, obviously before the storm hits, and get it inside at least. And yeah, so we don't end up with it out in the middle of the lake.
Rocky Mountain Power also reminding people to secure lawn furniture and trampolines and to report outages to RMP as soon as the power goes out. Reporting live in South Jordan, Jenna Bree, Fox 13 News, Utah.
Jenna, thank you. If you're driving through Sandy tonight, we have a traffic alert for you. A crash has shut down all directions of 106 South at 700 East. That intersection, Sandy police say a westbound vehicle making a turn to go south turned into the path of an eastbound driver. That driver going westbound is a man in his 60s. He was sent to the hospital in critical condition. The other driver suffered only minor injuries. This area is expected to be all clear for traffic by 11 o'clock tonight.
A viral video showing teens inside a Cedar City Walmart dressed in costumes yesterday and in blackface has Utahns crying foul and condemning the teens.
Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph has reaction from various sides of this video and the overwhelming condemnation.
Do you understand that none of you will get
it that way?
Do you guys understand the consequences of what you've just done?
No.
You guys are not going to get into a college. You guys are not going to get any scholarships because this is a hate crime.
We all dropped out of high school. It's okay.
This is the TikTok viral video in question that those around the state of Utah have been reacting to.
I've lived up north, I've lived down south, and for me, it's just a huge depiction of representing our state in a false light.
Shannon Bloomfield is a TikToker here in Utah that saw the video and then reacted to it.
Dressing up for Halloween like this does not depict the people of Utah whatsoever.
And thinks the actions of these teens do not reflect the state.
The truth is we're not all like this. I mean, majority of Utahns are not like that. So it's a very poor representation.
It's not a reflection of Utah, and so it makes it bad. It looks bad rather for Utah when something like this comes out.
Janetta Williams of the NAACP agrees and shares in condemnation.
When I saw that, I was taken back and I was very surprised and very shocked to see that.
The Iron County School District released a statement saying, in part, "We have opened an investigation into the student involvement and will take appropriate action once that investigation is complete." The Cedar City Police Department confirmed it happened in a Walmart in Cedar City, also adding in a statement, the Cedar City Police Department and Cedar City officials do not condone this type of activity.
I have been in touch with the Cedar City Police Department, Police Chief Darren Adams. We talked this morning. The Iron County School District.
TikTokers mistakenly identified Cedar Valley High School students in Eagle Mountain initially, posting their personal information online. Alpine School District said, in part, Cedar Valley High School students were not involved in the video. Additionally, we are deeply concerned that some of our students have been targeted with hateful and slanderous comments and threats.
We would ask them not to do that, not to approach them.
But the video remains, and for those like Janetta and Shannon, this behavior is unacceptable.
When you're wearing a Halloween costume, you're around all a bunch of little kids, so you're being a huge, poor example to them of what you're wearing and showing even the next generation after them.
And it's up to individuals to make sure that they can address the issue. And that's the main thing, to address the issue. It's no laughing matter. It's nothing funny.
That was Fox 13 News reporter Spencer Joseph reporting. Utah Governor Spencer Cox did release a statement today saying, quote, "We strongly condemn racism in all its forms, and we call on every Utahn to reject such offensive stereotypes, slurs, and attitudes." He says we must do better.
Still to come, an update on Utah's bid to bring the Winter Olympics back to the Beehive State.
Plus, how Salt Lake City police and the FBI nabbed a suspected serial bank robber and took him off city streets today. The man accused of robbing 3 banks in Salt Lake City has now been arrested. Police say 26-year-old Christian Singh is accused of robbing a Mountain America credit union, a Zions Bank, and a Key Bank all within the past 5 days. The Key Bank holdup happened at about 12:45 this afternoon. Detectives and FBI agents found Singh near 500 West, 200 South, just before 2:45 this afternoon. He resisted arrest before being taken into custody. No one was hurt.
The Salt Lake City, Utah Committee for the Games got updated today on the process of bidding to bring the Winter Olympics back to the Beehive State. The committee met virtually and heard that 100% of the venues are already in place. There is 100% support from political leaders and almost 80% public support. Last week, Vancouver, BC signaled that it would no longer seek the Games in 2030 or 2034. Former Utah Governor Gary Herbert, who serves on the committee, asked CEO Fraser Bullock how Vancouver dropping out will affect how Salt Lake City moves forward with its bid.
And the thing that I've learned about bids over the decades is that they are always dynamic. Things always change. People may leave, but people may enter as well. And so our strategy is just to put our heads down, work hard, put our best bid together that's possible.
The field of candidates for the 2030 and 2034 Winter Games is now down to Salt Lake City and Sapporo, Japan. Salt Lake would prefer to host the Games in 2034, but says it would be ready if the Games came in 2030. The International Olympic Committee is expected to name the host city for 2030 in September or October of next year.
It is windy out there for many of you right now. If you don't have wind at your house, you are lucky because it is very strong right now. Down through Manti, 40 miles per hour, Provo, 24 miles per hour, 36 miles per hour for Salt Lake. And we're going to continue with windy conditions into the overnight hours. So here are your main weather headlines. Wind will continue tonight. A cold front arrives very early tomorrow morning, and we'll have rain and snow returning behind that. So the cold front slated to be here between about 4 and 6 a.m. for much of northern Utah. Out ahead of it tonight, I want to fast forward the wind gust forecast for you through midnight tonight. At this point, we could see wind gusting more than 60 miles per hour in Tooele, and for much of Utah, 20 to 50 miles per hour. So that is very strong wind gusts into the overnight hours. They'll start to die down tomorrow behind the cold front, and that's when we focus on central, southern, and eastern Utah for our strongest winds into tomorrow. So overnight temps, when you wake up, about 40 to 50 degrees for northern Utah. St. George 55. Precipitation will get going mainly behind the front, but we could see some precipitation isolated out ahead of it, but mainly behind that front tomorrow. And then throughout the day, look at 4 o'clock here. We've got a whole different ball game compared to in the morning. We're normally seeing daytime heating and our warmest temperatures right around 3-4 p.m. these days, but tomorrow's going to be the opposite. Tomorrow will be warm when you wake up, and then it'll be cool during the second half of the day with areas of rain and snow here across the state. So winter weather advisories have been posted for the northern mountains, central mountains, West Desert, and then winter storm warnings. That's a little more serious. That's what's highlighted in pink for the southern mountains. So we've got quite a bit of snowfall on the way. So let's talk about some potential totals Wednesday into Thursday. Northern mountains, 5 to 15 inches of snow with some locally higher amounts possible. Same thing for the northern valleys, 0 to 4 inches of snow. Mostly looking at rain. And it was warm out ahead of it, so hopefully if any snow does start to accumulate, it wouldn't cause hopefully too many problems out on the roads, but 0 to 4 inches is the Northern Valley's forecast for snowfall, and we could see some areas higher than that if that storm really gets going and when we see that mixing in the intensity of it and the timing of it. And then for the southern mountains, 8 to 14 inches of snow, and for the southern valleys, 2 to 6 inches of snow. So St. George, mostly seeing rain out of this, but with your overnight temps, Thursday night, 30 degrees. So St. George, 60 tomorrow, 48 on Thursday. Chances for rain Wednesday, Thursday for the Wasatch Front, 49 tomorrow, 43 Thursday, 27 degrees Thursday night. Chance for some rain and 50s this weekend.
Thanks so much, Allison. Coming up, hear from one of the Ironman World Championship athletes who was hit by a car during the weekend's race.
And we have a preview of what the next Utah State flag is expected to look like. We'll show you the favorite design and why some oppose it. We're hearing from one of the 2 Ironman triathletes who was hit by a car during the cycling portion of the event in St. George over the weekend.
His name is Mark Evans. He is still tonight at St. George Regional Hospital next to the other triathlete that was hit as well. Evans suffered extensive injuries to his back, ribs, nose, and his right arm. Police say the suspect, Diana Linford, is accused of smoking marijuana the morning of the crash and being under the influence of other illegal narcotics when the crash happened.
I know she didn't wake up in the morning and get in her car and go, hey, I'm going to go ruin somebody's life or at least their day, you know? So I'm sure has good qualities like we all do.
Evans says he will not let this crash stop him from competing in the future. His family has set up a GoFundMe page to help with medical expenses. You can find a link on our website, fox13now.com. Fox 13 News has your first look at what may become the new Utah State flag.
This is the design right here that's being advanced by a commission created to design a new state flag. It's one that has ranked highly in public opinion surveys. Lawmakers, tribal representatives, and professional designers like it too.
The public in the 44,000 surveys that we received overwhelmingly chose representations of mountains and stars and the beehive, and so you're going to see a design that's very close to that.
The legislature passed a bill to design a new state flag. The commission could still tweak the design, but a final vote is expected next week.
Straight ahead, Taylor Swift has announced her next stadium tour, and Swift fans here in the state aren't happy. We'll explain why.
The first college football playoff ranking was released today. I'll tell you where the Utes are at. And will the Jazz have a player in the NBA All-Star game when it comes to Utah in February? Malik Beasley has the answer coming up in sports.
Taylor Swift announced her tour dates today, and Utah is not on the list. The pop star will be exclusively performing at NFL stadiums. You do have multiple options to see her, however. In March, she'll kick off the tour in Glendale, Arizona. Then she'll head to Las Vegas, and she'll be in Denver in July. Registered fans can buy tickets on November 15th. The public sale begins on November 18th.
Utah leaders joined Ducks Unlimited to announce a fundraiser to help raise funds to save the Great Salt Lake and its wetlands. The fundraiser, known as the Great Salt Lake Initiative, hopes to protect Utah's wetlands by funding projects to improve the state's water infrastructure, helping save more water that would have been lost.
The pillars of our Great Salt Lake Initiative are improving the volume of flow to the water and quantity, improving the quality of the water that is reaching the lake, investing in the wetlands management infrastructure around the lake, and combating the invasive species.
The event also included a private screening of the movie Wings Over Water, showcasing 3 different species of birds and their journeys across America's bodies of water.
Well, this Utah Jazz team continues to roll along. They beat the Memphis Grizzlies for the 2nd straight game last night to improve to 6-2 this season. It was another team effort with 6 players in double figures, led by Lauri Markkanen, who had 31 points, 11 rebounds. Well, he's playing great this season. his first with the Jazz. Is it good enough to represent the Jazz as they host the All-Star game in February?
He's an all-star, and I preach that, and I want him to get that this year. So we got to make sure we continue winning and, get him that valid vote. We believe that we got a great team. It's not just about him. We got guys every night who can score 30 or 20 and do what they're supposed to do. Tonight was his night again.
The Jazz start a 3-game road trip tomorrow in Dallas. Utah Athletics Director John Hartwell has resigned after 7.5 years on the job. Hartwell said after 25 years in the business, he will make his family his #1 priority. A national search to replace him will begin immediately. The first college football playoff rankings are out. Tennessee, Ohio State, Georgia, Clemson are in the top 4 spots. 5 Pac-12 teams are ranked, led by Oregon, USC, and Utah is 14th. We probably won't find out if Utah quarterback Cam Rising will play this Saturday against Arizona until game time. But either way, backup Bryson Barnes will be ready. He stepped up, led the Utes to a win over Washington State last week with the help from Rising on the sideline.
I mean, Cam was super supportive every time I came out the field. He was kind of telling me whatever plays I was running, kind of telling me what he was seeing, then we kind of, talk through it. I mean, the dude's he's a leader. He does things right. He's a great player. Just a great person overall. So, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better guy to be above me right now, learning from.
We're surrounded by great people. You have, Cam Rising being one of the top quarterbacks in the nation and cheering his backup on. And, it's always great to see, man, that camaraderie within the team. It's nothing better than it.
It's good to cheer on everybody and elevate.
I know.
That's right.
I love
That's what
it.
we try to do, huh?
Yeah.
Always. I'm trying to get you.
Always. He didn't even play and he's still getting the accolades. Right. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks for joining us. QuickCast is up next.